Is Pure Profile a great way to get paid for sharing your opinion, or is it just a waste of time? My name is Michael from paidfromservice.com, and in this Pure Profile review, I will give you an actually inside look so you can see exactly what it offers and easily find out if it will be worth it for you or not. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about how to get the most out of paid service and get paid to sites. I have now logged into Pure Profile, and let me just reveal right away that it is a legit service site. You can actually get paid here for sharing your opinion. But it is definitely not a site for everyone, as you will see in this review. When you log into Pure Profile, it is actually very easy to find your way around, as you can see here. There is not a lot of options. Here you get an overview of the options you have. You can fill out profile surveys here. These surveys is just to give some information about yourself, background information that they say they will use to match surveys with you. So they can be good to fill out, but you need to be aware there are quite a few here, and once in a while you will have to update them. That's when you will see them here in this feed, and they will not pay you for these profile surveys. Some survey sites, they pay you for filling out your profile. That's not the case on Pure Profile. It is a way to give them data so they can better find other surveys for you. So you just need to be aware of that. Then you have the surveys tab, and that's where you can find the service you will actually get paid for. And sometimes you might see that there are none available. That does happen regularly. That depends on the country you live in, but I will talk a little bit more about that later. For now, you can see here the reward here, for example, between 10 cents and $2.4 here. The survey will take around 15 minutes, and you can get an overview of that. It is not a very precise estimate for what you get, as you can see, but that depends whether you will qualify and how much of the survey you will qualify for, what you will get. But at least you can kind of get an idea about it. You do not see a lot about what the topic is actually about. You just this very generic image. So you just have to click it and see if you actually find it interesting or not. But overall, quite easy to take surveys here, but as mentioned, there are definitely times where you can actually not find surveys here, so you just have to check back regularly to see if there are new options if you do not have any. Then you have the content tab, and it can be a little bit confusing what it is, but you can, for example, find contests here sometimes, but other than that, it's just different content. For example, there's some more information about how to use Pure Profile here, but most of these you actually do not get paid for watching them, for example. Of course, if you win the contests that are here sometimes, you will of course win, but that depends purely on luck, so it's not as such a way to earn here in the content tab. Before showing you how you can then actually get your earnings out, I just want to talk a little bit about who can actually join, because that can be a little bit confusing. Because on the joining page, you can see there are quite a few countries you can choose from. So from all these countries here, you can actually join. But that does not mean there will necessarily be opportunities for you here. Because in many countries you can actually sign up, but there will not be any surveys. That's what I've experienced. That's also what I have heard from others. So just because you sign up does not mean that you will actually be able to earn here. In general, from research, I found out that the best countries is from the US and from Australia, New Zealand, and from the United Kingdom. From these countries, you should find quite regular paid service here. From all other countries, it will be very random when you will have an option, and it will actually be difficult to reach the payout threshold in many of these other countries. And I will talk a little bit about then the payout methods and the payout threshold next. So you of course also need to know how you can then get your earnings out. And first of all, you need to earn $20 before you can actually request a payout. It is a little bit higher when you consider the number of paid surveys that are available here on Pure Profile, but it's definitely still possible to reach. And once you reach the $20, you can get paid either through bank transfer if you want cash, or you can get your earnings out through PayPal. That does depend on the country you live in. And you can also choose to get gift cards. Exactly which gift cards you can get, that will also depend on the country you live in. Just one thing that you need to know about these payout methods is that it's a little bit strange that you can actually only take out $70 or £70, depending on where you live, every 60 days. So that means that on average, you can only redeem $35 per month. So it's a little bit strange limit. I have actually not seen any other service sites that has a limit like that. but it tells you a lot about how much you can maximum earn, because even if you should be able to get more surveys, and in many countries you will not be able to earn this much, but if you should be able to, then that is the maximum you can actually take out. So that will be the maximum you can earn, because it doesn't make sense to earn more if you can't actually get the earnings out. So that's just a little extra thing that you need to be aware of when it comes to Pure Profile and the payout conditions there. If you decide to join, it's good to know that they actually also has a mobile app, and the Pure Profile app is very easy to use. Personally, I think it is great when service sites have apps, because it makes it a lot easier to take service on the go just when you have a bit of time once in a while. So if you decide to join and actually like it, then I can definitely recommend to also check out the app to make it easier to earn. As you can see, Pure Profile is a legit service site, and you can actually earn here and get your earnings out in convenient ways. The payout threshold is a little bit high. The number of available surveys is quite limited. And what can be a little bit confusing is that you can join from a lot of countries where you actually do not have a lot of opportunities. So even though you can join, it might not be worth it. I mentioned earlier the countries like the US, the UK, New Zealand, and Australia. That's the countries where it has the most opportunities. If you live in other countries, there are definitely sites that are better. And even if you live in these 4 countries, Pure Profile has limited earning opportunities. So you should definitely make sure to also join other service sites as well. As an extra service site, it can be worth considering if you live in one of these countries. And if you want to know even more about Pure Profile and also alternatives you can join, then you can check out the full review on my website, paidfromservice.com. I will leave a link here below this video. So make sure to check that out, and also make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you won't miss out next time we release a video with tips and tricks about how to get the most out of paid service and get paid to sites.